Hey girl, hey! Welcome back to Robyn Scherer Photography. Today we're going to dive into the new editing app I've been using, which is Evoto, and I absolutely love it. It has really sped up my editing workflow immensely, and I'm going to show you the highlights of it. So let's dive right in. So I have a raw image on the screen right now, and I'm going to go a little bit through my workflow. I actually have another video if you want to check that out that does my entire workflow. I'm just going to touch on the basics I do to hop into Evoto here. So immediately I'll pop on my basic preset. I will grab the 8x10 cropping and I will crop that to where I want that to be. I'm going to go mid-thigh here, and then I'm going to check my exposure and grab the eyedropper and do something gray for a mid-tone and check my white balance. And I'm going to brighten that up just a smidge, and I'll take my eyedropper and check skin tone. So we're pretty much right on spot. That RGB should be 85, 78, 68, but those numbers are pretty close, and I like it because I actually know these women's skin tones, and that's pretty spot on. So we have a good creamy skin tone to start. So if I'm prepping images for Evoto and I'm prepping a gallery of, let's say, 30 images, I would go through and make sure the white balance, the exposure, the cropping, all of that was coherent throughout the gallery. And then if there were any spots, let's say acne, bruises, I would go ahead and take those off, because I feel like the spot removal tool in Lightroom, let's just say I'm going to take off this thing off the ground. It works to me better than the Evoto one. So I would take out any spots that I would need to remove before I went into Evoto. So let's say all my 20 images are ready to roll. So from here, I would go into Photo, Edit In, and I would choose Evoto. You're going to say yes here. Take all the Lightroom adjustments into Evoto. And it will take a second, because what it will do is make a copy of this raw image, and it'll call it a TIFF file, and it will move it into Evoto, and here we are. So let me show you the magic that is Evoto. So you will start with just one image of, let's say you pulled in 20 of that gallery. So what I'm going to do is, there you see the face here. It's female. You can click off, it's a family. And there's no real acne to take care of here. Remove glasses glare. This is an amazing tool. You would be surprised at the magic that creates. But what I would do is go to skin retouching. So facial skin, I'm going to do skin softening of about 25. And you want to make sure nothing crazy is happening. So you could pull it in closer, but 25 is usually a beautiful, happy medium. Then you'll go into body skin, and this is going to do arms, legs, you name it. And I'll take that to about 25. And then if you had something like a farmer's tan, this unified body complexion does an amazing job with helping to get rid of that. It won't get rid of it entirely, but it does a pretty darn good job. Something to note. So moving on, you can do teeth if you want. I don't do a lot of teeth whitening. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people's teeth are pretty fantastic these days, just because of our dental care. That's my own 2 cents. But I don't normally do teeth, but you could do it. Eyes. This is where you got to make sure you're not getting crazy, because she has really light eyes to her blue eyes. But I normally will do 25, 30. You can see here that you might be able to do more, and it's not making their eyes. It's making her eyes a bit crazy, so I would probably stick to, I'm thinking like 44 is fine here. But that's something you definitely want to keep in mind when you're doing the eyes. And then the glasses glares there again, can't say enough about that. This is probably the #1 reason I originally got Evoto, was the stray hair removal. So take a peek here. Boom. Now, if you were doing 20 individual images in Lightroom and you had to go in and do spot removal of hair, you're looking at a lot of hours of sitting there editing. So what I love about Evoto is I've now done the stray hairs, the skin, the face, the eyes. If they had, let's say, a navy sweater on with some lint, you'd click the shirt, you'd say de-blemish clothing up to 100, and for the most part it takes off, I'm gonna say like 99% of the lint. You would be just so pleasantly surprised at that. So once you do that to one image and you pulled it in back and you hit library, let's say your 20 images are here, you would click this, Command All, and you would hit photo up here, sync settings. So sorry, couldn't see that, but it says photo sync settings. You click sync settings. I didn't have any to here to sync. So, but it would sync all 20 with every single slider you did. It would do it to all 20 images. By the time you hit sync and looked back at your images, done. All of them, done. So from there, you're gonna Command All and grab them all. You're gonna say export. You can go through here and change these as you like. I leave it the original. I have them go back to the original folder. I do not rename them. You can, I don't. What happens is if you don't rename anything, you leave it in the original folder. In Lightroom to begin with, it made that original TIFF copy file. It brought all of those into Evoto. Once you synced the edits, it will bring them back into Evoto and they'll be called edit_2 if you don't rename them, which works for me. So I'm gonna export that. You can check the export history here, and let's say you have 20 images, it'll tell you, when they're all done. So now this is complete. So I'm gonna go back into Lightroom. From here, you can see nothing's been done. You're gonna go into library. You're going to go to that folder of where you were working. You're going to sync the folder. You're just going to say yes there. It is now pulling in all the edited images. You will go back to the folder and you'll go to text and you will search for edit_, and you'd even have to finish typing. Here is the edited image. Let's pull it up so you can see it. You can see for the most part, I wouldn't even touch this because this looks natural without crazy stray hairs. So this would be done for me. So once you had pulled up all the 20 images that have the edit_2, I normally go through each one and make sure there's not some little tweak that needs to be done. But the other issue is when it's pulling the 20 images back into Lightroom, for 20 images, it might take 15 minutes. For 100, it might take a half hour. The beauty of this is all the images are being edited. In that 15, 30 minutes, let's say 45 minutes, if you have like 150 images that you're editing, you can go do other things. You can work on your blog posts. You can work on a post to Instagram. You can work on your Facebook page. You can work on any other part of your business while this is editing for you, versus you sitting there editing all 100 images individually, correcting the stray hairs, brushing on skin smoothing, brushing on eye pop. That is all eliminated. So you just gain so much more valuable time back to working on your business while this is editing. Now, like I said, you're still gonna have to go through and double check that everything looks right through all the images before you were to deliver them, but for the most part, you haven't sat and done every individual image. So Evoto is an amazing time saver. I highly recommend that you give it a try. And yeah, that is it for today. Message me if you want to see something else. Be happy to help and share my knowledge. And I'm so thankful that you were here today, and I hope to see you again soon. With that, I am signing off, and have a great day.